It's TA with MK. It's TA with MK. Gents and ladies, no time to waste. Don't be afraid, it's time to trade. Let's start your brains like high-speed trains. Storm these games like hurricanes. It's time to save this herd this days. Put on your cape and learn the phrase. It's TA with MK. It's TA with MK. I'm in a good mood right now because we are going to do our part 2 of the psychological and emotional side of trading. This one is going to be about fear and greed and the role it plays within the crypto space and trading in general. I'm going to put on my best Warren Buffett impression as I say, be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. Thank you. Thank you. Truly. I appreciate it. Now, the first thing I want to show you, just because I find it to be a great resource, and honestly, it's just really cool, is we're going to go over here to our browser. I'm on Google right now, and we're just going to type into the search box, Crypto Fear and Greed Index, and hit enter. This top one that comes up that says alternative.me, Crypto Fear and Greed Index, Bitcoin Sentiment, we're going to go ahead and click on that. And if we scroll down just a bit, we can see that there's this thing here called the Fear and Greed Index. Now, this is something that gets updated every day, which is what I think is so cool. Right now, it's saying we are at an even 50, which is neutral. Obviously, anything to the left would be considered fearful. Anything to the right is into the greed section. It even shows over here historical values. Yesterday was neutral with 50, just like today. A week ago, we had extreme fear. That was when Bitcoin was clear down, testing the below 40K, obviously. I'm sure if Bitcoin continues to move up over the next few days, then it'll be in the greedier side of things. And I would be 10,000% lying if I even pretended I had any clue how they actually calculate this. Because this channel is meant for us to learn things together. Obviously, in a future video, I will dive into that and make a video about it, and we can kind of learn that together. But for this video, I just want you to know that it exists and that you can kind of use it to gauge the overall market sentiment. Is the overall market participants fearful, greedy, or in this case, as of today, neutral? Well, now, how are we going to use this to help us in trading? You know, the knowledge that the market is fearful or neutral or greedy, right? How is it going to help us or give us an edge, which is what we're trying to create? Well, one thing you need to understand is this market has a habit or a high likelihood of doing the opposite of what everyone expects. And what I mean by that is this market has a way of taking the most people's money, taking money from what they call dumb people, dumb money, and transferring it to smart people. They call that like the transfer of wealth, right? And that happens a lot within trading. Well, the reason why it happens is because a lot of people, when they're fearful, tend to want to sell, and often the market will do the opposite. It will go up, and vice versa. When the market's greedy and everybody wants to buy, a lot of times that's when the market prices go down. To get an even better idea of what I'm talking about, let's go back over to our browser where we were at this Fear and Greed Index, and let's type in TRADINGVIEW.com, right? I'm going to go to TradingView, and then I'm going to go to a BTC USDT chart for Binance. I'm going to switch it over from the 4-hour to the daily, and then I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. And I want to go back to price action. I want to focus on price action between, like, I don't know, May 10th and when Bitcoin bottomed out at around 29,000 on July 22nd. I mean, looking back previously, Bitcoin had been going, up. It had some retraces, but each time it just kept going higher high, higher high, and then it topped out here at about 64.5K. Well, then it had a pretty good retrace here, but then it was on its way back up. I think everybody was starting to get greedy again, thinking, okay, this was just another dip like we'd had every other time before. And then all of a sudden, in a matter of May 9th, May 10th-ish, down to May 21st, over a 10-day period, Bitcoin lost over half its value. Well, then it basically spent 2 months just consolidating sideways here between about 29, 30K and about, 41,000. And I think, this was a time when the market was super fearful. I mean, every time it would get down here near 30,000, everybody was calling for it to lose that support and go to 20K. I heard 14K, 10K, zero, right? And but the funny thing is the smart money was using this opportunity to accumulate for the next leg up. Bitcoin had already lost over half its value. The market was super fearful. A lot of the indicators and stuff, which we'll learn more, as we dive into that kind of stuff on the channel, were suggesting that a bounce was coming sooner than later. And so smart money just accumulated as much as they could during that sideways period of time. And obviously it paid off for them when Bitcoin was able to finally break out and start trending higher. Well, now, fast forward a couple months. So we got Bitcoin over here. It breaks, puts in a new all-time high in October at about 66,000. It retraces from that point down here. Then it goes back up again, re-breaks that, and puts in a new high. And it's pushing towards 70K. Everybody's getting excited. 70, 80K's in the cards. Well, at that point, you have a lot of people that, when they start to get very greedy, that's when a lot of new people enter the market and decide to buy. They were afraid to buy back here where Bitcoin was at 30,000, but suddenly they want to buy it when everybody's talking about it and it's the next best thing and it's going to go to 100K and 250K and all of that, right? Well, then look what happens. The market actually does the exact opposite at that point, and it goes the other way completely, right? In conclusion, it's pretty easy to see that the market has a habit of going the opposite direction that everyone expects, but that is where we can use things like the Fear and Greed Index to our benefit to get a better idea of maybe when to buy and when to sell. Because once again, as Warren Buffett said, you want to buy when others are fearful and sell when others are greedy. By nature, you'll be doing the opposite of what most people are doing, right? And because the market likes to do the opposite of what most people expect, you'll be right more often than not. Nothing groundbreaking there, just a small dive into fear and greed and the role it plays in the market, giving you good indications of when to buy and when to sell. Thank you for sticking around. This was TA with MK. My name is McKay. As always, remember to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. It's TA.